Good evening, everybody. Is Mike on? Is Mike not even on?
There you go.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Happy Friday, everybody. So today I'm going to discuss land zoning, permitting, and development. So this is the table of contents of what I will be discussing. Next. So Guam's land zoning is often characterized by permitting system flaws, fragmented interagency, and a lack of digital resources. And Guam's land use zoning, it was developed to protect the development of building and property, things of that nature. And I'm going to discuss the inefficiencies and delays that could affect Guam's economy and some recommendations on how we can improve that. Next. So this right here, this is a drawing of McDonald's Dedito. I used to work for Renovate Guam as a project coordinator. If I were to use this entire map, we would be here all night. This is 92 pages. It has everything from plumbing, electrical, architectural plans. And the Department of Public Works, they want you to have a hard copy of this. This is from PDF, but they want you to print out the entire drawing, at least 24 by 36 inches. That's a lot. And each agency you go to before they check for permit, they want the drawing. So imagine if you were to print out, let's say, 5. That's 500 something pages, and you're going to spend a lot of money. So you're not going to do that. You're going to just have one drawing, maybe a second copy for reference. Next slide. So you would fill out this form here, and it has the different, whichever type of work you're going to do. The contractor has to sign it, the owner, VC, the architect has to sign it, and from here, depending on whatever work you have to do, each agency would have to look at this and approve whichever work that you're doing. And they want everything, they want the drawing, the hard copy of the drawing, and they want it on a disc. And you have to go through different people and give them the disc for them to review it, for them to approve. Next. So here's just a little flow chart of how it goes. You got the pre-application conference, submit the application, different agencies review, so on and so forth. Next. So from Dr. Herbert Johnson, created a Gantt chart. This is around the average time it would take to get permission. You see his initial date was August 20th. And you see the average time it takes to go through each agency to get their permission before it ultimately goes back to DPW for the approval. And you see the issuance date is February. This is for a commercial property or commercial renovation. So on average, it takes 6 months. Now, as a project coordinator, if we don't have permission to do the work, if my guys can't work, they can't get paid. And if the work can't get done, I have a dissatisfied client. Next. So, excuse me. So the governor's task force to reform government permitting, it was an executive order passed in February 2019, and Dr. Herbert Johnson task force, they wanted to review the different permitting procedures, and they met with different agencies to take data from the process of how long each of these things would take. Based off that Gantt chart, that was part of the data sample that they took. So why is this important? It's important because agencies, they have different procedures. I'll give you an example now. Appeals board. This is so annoying. I'm just getting flashbacks thinking about it. So Appeals Board, whenever you go to them, you need to have the drawing and the disc, and they want a $15 payment. But not just any payment, they want it in a check. So I have to go back to the office, ask for the accountant, can you please write a check to Appeals Board for $15? I can pull out $15 from my car under my seat somewhere. But they want a check. And this is an opportunity to make improvements with the permitting process. That's why Dr. Johnston and the task force, they did this because they wanted to see where some of the flaws were and how we can make improvements. And with those improvements, it'll give investors, it'll give clients who actually want to build around Guam, it'll give them more confidence, and that'll further our economy. Next. So, the issue, it's a lack of active leadership. There's a lot of reactive leaders within these agencies. Trust me, I know. When I've gone to one of the one-stop agencies and I ask, hey, what's the status of my permit? And I'll hear, oh man, it's been sitting on my desk. What the heck? Been waiting for 2 weeks to get an answer, and it's just been sitting on your desk collecting dust? What the heck? And that delays the permitting process because they're not actively doing anything or actively, I don't mean to call out any of the leaders, but this is what happens. This affects people's livelihoods, essentially. That's it. When we don't have permission to do work, and my guys can't work, they can't get paid. You know? And the zoning maps are often outdated, too. And I got a quote from Dan Swavely from the Data Points podcast. He said, until permitting rises to the first, second, or third priority, we won't see any changes. So, next. So with that, I would recommend and emphasize the importance of permitting land and zoning on Guam. That's one of the priorities that the government needs to make. Especially, we're trying to continue to build. And we should update and make it simple, because a lot of people, when they're doing these applications, they're lost. So there should be at least some kind of guide on how to properly fill out an application chart, because if it's not filled out correctly, that could lead to delays as well. And last but not least, develop an online permitting platform to expedite the process. Next. And here is a flow chart, is a concept of how it would be if it was 100% online. You would just create an account, you can upload your documents, not have to go to Fast Copy or Copy Express to print out 100 pages of a drawing. You have it all in PDF. And AI could review it. Whoever develops a site could tell it what to do, what to look for, and what flaws to find, and correct every mistake that's made, so that way there's no delays in the process. So there's faster approvals, real-time tracking, and it's all on record digitally. And there's another one, next. There's another, a third-party digital platform. Have you guys heard of American Passport Renewal? So it will be something similar to that, and it's called Real Facts. This is from Ryan Mummert, and it's a data port, and it aggregates the real data of the property information on Guam, and the map updates every couple days. And they could also be the third party of the permitting process. They can do all the paperwork for you, keep track of everything, and do it all digitally. And this is beneficial to investors, to real estate agents, to land developers, whoever. However, it is a paid subscription, but if you're investing, why not invest and make your job easier, right? So in conclusion, land zoning and permitting plays an important role in regulating the growth of Guam. And as we continue to grow, we should modernize the system so we can create a more efficient process, especially for our investors. Like I said, if things are efficient, if things are on point, investors will have more confidence into investing their money into Guam. Perhaps maybe the DOD would have more of an interest in investing in Guam too. But I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to leave that to Mary.